According to research published in the American Heart Journal, you are 40% more likely to suffer a heart attack or a stroke between the hours of 6 a.m. and noon compared to any other time of the day. Let that sink in. The moment you are supposed to wake up refreshed is actually the most biologically dangerous moment of your life. Medical researchers call this phenomenon the morning surge, and for decades, the exact why was a partial mystery. Until now. We now know that while you sleep, your body enters a state of hemodynamic drought. Because you aren't drinking water for 8 hours, your blood thickens. But worse, your liver ramps up the production of a specific protein called PAI-1, plasminogen activator inhibitor 1. Think of PAI-1 as body glue. Its job is to promote clotting. Its levels peak right before dawn. So you have thicker blood, narrower arteries from morning stress hormones, and peak clotting factors. It is the perfect storm for a blockage. For years, the advice was just take an aspirin. But emerging clinical nutrition research is pointing to a more sophisticated, natural intervention, something that doesn't just thin the blood, but actually repairs the vessel walls while you sleep. It involves a specific protocol using high phenolic extra virgin olive oil taken right before bed. It is not a midnight snack. It is a targeted biological shield against that 6 a.m. danger zone. In this masterclass, I'm going to break down exactly how this works and why the bottle in your pantry right now might be useless. Before we talk about the oil, you need to understand the engine it fixes. Inside every single artery in your body, there is a lining called the endothelium. It is incredibly thin, only 1 cell thick. I want you to think of your endothelium like the non-stick coating on a brand new frying pan. When you are young, that coating is perfect. Blood cells slide through it like a fried egg sliding off a Teflon pan. Nothing sticks, nothing clots. But as we age, that coating gets scratched. What scratches your pan? High blood pressure, high sugar levels, and stress. But the biggest culprit is something called oxidative stress. It is literally biological rust. When your endothelium gets rusted and scratched, it becomes rough. And just like that old pan, things start to stick. Cholesterol gets trapped in the scratches. Calcium builds up. This is where the danger lies. Most people try to fix this by scrubbing the pan, taking statins to lower cholesterol, but they ignore the scratches themselves. This is exactly where the olive oil protocol changes the game. We are not just trying to thin the blood, we are trying to re-season the pan. The specific polyphenols found in high-quality olive oil don't just float in your blood, they actively bind to that endothelial lining. They patch the scratches. By taking it at night, when your body is in repair mode and you aren't eating other foods to compete for absorption, you are giving your arteries a direct infusion of healing material. So how does this actually work chemically? Let's look at the first mechanism, the nitric oxide boost. Now that we know the endothelium is the inner lining, we need to talk about its superpower. This lining isn't just a passive wallpaper, it is an active chemical factory. Its most important job is to produce a gas called nitric oxide. This discovery was so monumental that 3 scientists won the Nobel Prize for it in 1998. Why? Because nitric oxide is the signal that tells your arteries to relax. When you have enough of it, your arteries widen, a process called vasodilation. This keeps your blood pressure low and healthy, regardless of stress. But here is the critical problem, and the reason why blood pressure almost always creeps up as we age. By the time you turn 60, your endothelium has lost about 85% of its ability to produce this gas compared to when you were 20. It's like trying to water a garden with a hose that is being squeezed shut. And remember the morning surge we talked about? At 4 a.m., your natural nitric oxide production hits its absolute lowest point of the 24-hour cycle. Your protection is gone exactly when you need it most. This is where the extra virgin olive oil performs its first miracle. It is rich in specific polyphenols, primarily one called oleopain. When these polyphenols enter your bloodstream at night, they don't just sit there. They physically attach to your endothelial cells and stimulate an enzyme called eNOS. Think of it like jump-starting a dead car battery. The oil forces your aging endothelium to wake up and start pumping out nitric oxide again. By taking it right before bed, you are artificially boosting your body's shield, keeping those arteries wide open and flexible throughout the danger zone of the early morning. Now let's move upstairs to the most energy-hungry organ in your body, your brain. For decades, scientists believed the brain was static while we slept. But in 2012, a breakthrough study from the University of Rochester changed everything. They discovered that your brain has a hidden plumbing system called the Glymphatic System. Think of it as the night shift cleaning crew. When you enter deep sleep, your brain cells literally shrink by 60%. This opens up wide channels between the cells, allowing cerebrospinal fluid to rush in and power wash your brain tissue. Why is this power wash so critical? Because during the day, your neurons produce metabolic waste. The most dangerous type is a sticky protein called beta amyloid. If this waste isn't washed away every night, it starts to accumulate. It builds up into plaques that clog communication between neurons. This accumulation is the hallmark of Alzheimer's disease and dementia. If you aren't sleeping well, or if your glymphatic system is sluggish, the trash doesn't get taken out. It stays in the kitchen. So where does the olive oil come in? Your brain is 60% fat. The quality of that fat determines how well your cleaning system works. The oleic acid in olive oil is a fluid fat. When you consume it, especially at night, it incorporates into your cell membranes, keeping them soft, flexible, and permeable. It allows the waste to pass out of the cells easily. Contrast that with seed oils or trans fats, which make your cell walls stiff and rigid. By taking a tablespoon of liquid gold before bed, you are essentially lubricating the gears of your brain's waste disposal system, ensuring that the trash gets fully flushed out before you wake up. We have covered the heart and the brain, but let's talk about what you actually feel when you wake up. The stiffness in your lower back, the knees that feel like rusty door hinges when you try to get out of bed. That feeling isn't just old age. That is active systemic inflammation. While you sleep, inflammatory markers called cytokines can pool in your joints. It's like a slow burning fire that leaves you stiff and achy by morning. And this is where olive oil performs its most impressive magic trick. Have you ever tasted real, high-quality extra virgin olive oil and felt that distinct peppery sting in the back of your throat, that urge to cough? That sting is caused by a rare compound called oleocanthal. A few years ago, scientists noticed something incredible. When they looked at the molecular structure of oleocanthal, they realized it inhibits the same pain pathways as ibuprofen. Literally, it acts as a natural, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, or NSAID. Specifically, it blocks the COX-1 and COX-2 enzymes. These are the chemical triggers that tell your body to create inflammation and pain. But unlike pills, which can tear up your stomach lining or stress your kidneys if you take them every day, oleocanthal is gentle on the gut. By taking a full tablespoon before sleep, you are essentially marinating your joints in a natural anti-inflammatory all night long. You are putting out the fire while you rest, so you can wake up with hinges that actually move. Now, before you rush to the grocery store, I need to give you a serious warning. There is a saying in the industry: There is more extra virgin olive oil sold in the world than there are olive trees to produce it. Let that sink in. Studies suggest that up to 70% of the oil sold in the US and Australia as extra virgin is actually fake. It is often cut with cheap sunflower or soybean oil or colored with chlorophyll to look green. If you drink that, you are not fighting inflammation, you are feeding it. So how do you spot the liquid gold among the fakes? You need to become a detective. Rule number 1. Never buy olive oil in a clear plastic bottle. Remember those polyphenols we talked about? They are incredibly fragile. Light destroys them in a matter of weeks. If you can see the color of the oil through the bottle on the supermarket shelf, that oil is already dead. Always look for dark glass or a tin can. This protects the medicine inside from photooxidation. If the bottle is clear, walk away. Rule number 2. Read the fine print. First, it must say extra virgin. Terms like pure, light, or just olive oil are code words for chemically refined grease. Avoid them. Second, look for the acidity level. Real medicine has a free acidity of less than 0.8%. The lower, the better. If they don't list the acidity, they are usually hiding something. And finally, look for a harvest date, not the best buy date. You want oil that was harvested within the last 18 months. Unlike wine, olive oil does not get better with age. It expires. So you have bought the right bottle. Now, how do you take it? Please do not start with a full tablespoon tonight. If your body isn't used to pure fat, you might end up running to the bathroom. Think of your digestion like a muscle. You need to train it. Start with just 1 teaspoon, 5 milliliters, for the first 3 or 4 days. If your stomach feels fine, graduate to a dessert spoon, and finally to the full tablespoon, 15 milliliters. That 15 milliliter dose is the clinical sweet spot where the anti-inflammatory magic happens. Now, a very important medical warning. When you eat fat, your gallbladder squeezes to release bile. If you have active gallstones or a history of gallbladder attacks, taking pure oil on an empty stomach can trigger a painful spasm. If that is you, do not do this protocol. Instead, put the oil on your lunch salad. You'll still get the benefits without the intense contraction. Also, if you suffer from severe acid reflux, GERD, taking oil right before lying down might open the hatch to your stomach. If you have reflux, take the oil at least 60 minutes before bed or with your dinner. For everyone else, here is the optimal routine. Take your tablespoon about 30 minutes before you brush your teeth. This gives the oil time to settle in your stomach before you lie down flat. Some people like to mix it with a few drops of lemon juice to cut the texture. That is perfectly fine and adds a little vitamin C boost. Make this your new signal to your body that the day is over and repair mode is beginning. I want to leave you with one final thought. 1 tablespoon of olive oil tonight won't magically unclog your arteries by tomorrow morning. Biology doesn't work like that. But 365 tablespoons over the next year? That changes the architecture of your blood vessels. Health at 60 and beyond isn't about grand gestures. It is about the small, boring things we do consistently when nobody is watching. You are building a shield, one night at a time. If you're ready to start this protocol, I want you to make a pledge to yourself right now. Go to the comments below and write, "I am starting tonight." Let's see how many of us are taking control of our health together. If you learned something new in this masterclass, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm Dr. Anya, and I am here to help you not just age, but to age well. See you in the next video. Sweet dreams!